Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Dragon Warrior Randomizer weekly race. We've got a pretty good field here tonight with Mr. Holmes up to no good, JJ Schmidt, and Thilo all racing tonight. And I'm joined here by Ryu Station on commentary. Ryu, how are you doing tonight?
Still working on catching my breath from changing a tire, but otherwise, doing good.
Seems appropriate that you would be tired after changing a tire. So looks like we got strength HP for 3 of the runners, and the 4th runner is going with their own handle, so I don't quite know what that one ends up as when you put it through the name system. It looks like our runners are off, and so we will just wait for the stream to catch up. What are you hoping to see in the throne room today, Ryu?
Let's go with a cursed belt, some cash, and the obligatory magic key. Well, we get a torch, we get a fighter's ring, and of course our obligatory magic key. And we start with heal, so no saving the key today.
Definitely not going to be unhappy to see fighter's ring, though. Especially at level 1, any kind of strength gain that you can get is definitely happy. You would be happy to see that. You're not happy to see Breckenary with no money. But some pretty good things for a gold grind. You can pick up a flame sword, a full plate, and a large shield, and that will carry you through a good chunk of the mid game if you can get that gold grind off.
Yeah, I mean, having Breckenary and Tangelo right next to each other is reminiscent of the vanilla game.
So JJ found a slime to fight. Up to no good tried to fight a ghost and got wrecked. Looks like Mr. Holmes is going to try his luck with the ghost as well. And that'll be enough for level 2.
Well, ghosts are not being too friendly, but scorpions seem to be alright.
17 agility off of the 2nd level, so that's going to allow some longer drawn-out fights.
Well, I retract my statement that Scorpion was not very nice to Mr. Holmes there. But we do have the Staff of Rain Cave being found by Tillo.
Yeah, it looks like the Scorpion is just a little bit too tough for Mr. Holmes to take down right now. Didn't deal very much damage to it, but he's going to hang out in the desert just to pick up a couple more levels, it looks like.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's always good to try and get at least, I'd say, between level 4 or 5 before doing any exploration, just so that you have some stats behind you, or maybe a spell or two that might help you. I mean, they do have heal, so they do have survivability at least.
Yeah, good point on picking up that spell, though. You never know when Hurtmore is going to be around the corner, and getting that early just means you're off to the races.
And speaking off to the races, Tillo finding Remolder not far from Tangel, along with yet another cave. This one is a dark cave, and looks to be possibly Swamp North.
Right. Meanwhile, Mr. Holmes trying his luck with a Scorpion again, chipping away at him, and he's got a lot of casts of heal, so he should be able to do this. All right, so Mr. Holmes has heal more. So at level 3, a very nice bump in strength, and a very, very nice bump in MP.
Wow, and caves and towns about, as Tillotilla has found Cantlin and yet another cave.
Yeah, this might be a quick one with Romualdar and Cantlin within pretty close proximity to Pantagel. Those coordinates are going to come much faster than normal.
Alright, and it looks like we have Mountain Cave. Ooh, a Star Wyvern's in it. That's not going to be friendly. Ooh, and they breathe Dragonlord's Breath.
And that is an enemy to keep in mind for the future. Star Wyverns with Flame Breath, probably going to see at least one of those in the Charlock dive. All right, level 3 for Up to No Good, level 3 for JJ Schmidt, so they both have heal more now.
And let's see, just a quick look at everybody. Looks like everybody is running Big Z except for Tillotilla, which is Strength HP build. But I believe the name that Tillotilla has is also a Strength HP.
Yeah, and one nice feature about the Dragon Warrior Randomizer is that its strength HP with a +3 that was changed so that no matter the name that you chose, you would get the maximum effect out of the stat distribution.
Correct, and I did check, and yes, Tillotilla is also running Strength HP. So all 4 are running Strength HP builds this time around.
So what are your thoughts regarding strength HP versus strength agility?
Personally, I tend to favor Strength HP overall. There has been a few occasions where the Strength Agility seed paid out better, but more often than not, the Strength HP does seem to win.
Oh, Star Wyvern's on the overworld as well, and Tillotilla is going back to the start. I personally agree with you. I know the ability to run from things in Charlock is very nice, but I feel the flexibility of being able to use the Death Necklace more effectively makes Strength HP a little bit of a better bet.
I mean, the agility is nice, but usually in a normal setting, your agility is not as important, whereas the HP is definitely something you have to have. Otherwise, you will not be able to take 2 of the Dragonlord Breath hits from the Dragonlord. You have to have at least a minimum of 97 to survive 2 full 48 HP hits. So if you're on an agility seed and you're on the same level as somebody, but you're 1 HP less, whereas they have more, the strength HP person could be already ready to go, whereas you have to get another level to get that HP you need, or risk it.
Yeah, it's always tough making that decision before you have any information about the seed whatsoever. But there are people that will go one way or the other, and they have their preferences. I can certainly see the merit in being able to run from things in Charlock. So we've got Mr. Holmes at level 5, Up to No Good at level 4, and the other 2 runners, well, JJ just got level 4, and Tillotilla is at level 3. Looks like Mr. Holmes learned Hurt.
I believe you are right, and I mean, starting out with heal, and then everybody's already got heal more at level 4. I mean, that's just going to really benefit, especially with Looks like Mr. Holmes had a 50 HP, so that'll be really good being able to get that max HP back.
Yeah, it looked like he was trying to see what the cast percentage was on that Wraith. That's easily a 75% hurt more, and he just can't sustain that fight at that low level.
And unfortunately not. I do see that there are some goods to be found here in Cantlin. Nothing affordable at this time. Well, he can afford the club, and he will go ahead and pick up the club. Can't blame him there. Every little bit of extra damage helps. And Tilla getting taken out by a wizard.
So Mr. Holmes joins the club, and he's going to scope out the mountain cave here.
And Mr. Holmes using the Radiant to great effect, making it much easier to identify his caves. And he does see there is some gold here in Mountain Cave as well. We still got Up to NG and JJ Schmidt both grinding on the Scorpions, while Tilla is opting to try a little bit more exploration and finds a werewolf, but does get away.
Mr. Holmes finding another gold chest with some fairy water in it, and gets ambushed by, excuse me, a wolf lord.
Well, thankfully, the Wolf Lord's not hitting him for too hard, so he could actually try and kill it here if he wanted to, but he's going to opt out, get the last 2 chests, and hope for some good luck here. Well, there's that cursed belt I was hoping for. And we have level up on JJ Schmidt's side, so he'll be happy to see that he now has Hurt and Radiant.
And Mr. Holmes finds wings, so he just needs to get out of here as fast as possible. If he can get out of here with that money, that'll be a big help, but looks like he might be taking... yeah, he's taking a beating here.
Well, if he can get this Wolf Lord out, it'll give him a good amount of experience here, and he does for 52. Only problem is now he doesn't have any spells left to use, and I believe he can use one more heal, which he's going to go ahead and do that. So he has a little bit of health to survive with if he runs into something that gets a ambush on him. Such as a Stone Man. However, that's not going to be an ambush. That's going to be a slaughter.
Yeah, that's a rough one to find, even though he has low agility. He's in the 4th enemy group, so you get no bonus in trying to run away from him.
And unfortunately, he will lose half his gold, but he does still at least have a good amount of gold, so if he can find his way to Rimmildar, he'll be able to pick up some keys and explore the treasury, at least in Tanagel, see what he can find there.
Doesn't find Rimmildar, finds the Staff of Rain cave instead.
It's still always good information to have, because you will need to know where that cave is once you have the Silver Harp, so you can get your Staff of Rain. For those who are unfamiliar with Dragon Warrior, you do have to collect 3 key items. You have to get the Staff of Rain by trading in the Silver Harp, the Stones of Sunlight, and Erdrick's Token, which you can then turn into the Rainbow Drop Cave, affectionately known as the Jerk Cave, because if you do not have at least the token, he will kick you straight out, saying you are not worthy. And we do have another level on Mr. Holmes' side, and some decent stats there as well. No new spells, though.
Oh, hey, our first AK sighting.
Oh, and it hits damage. Him. It hits him for exactly his health that he had. So level 6, he does have a good starting HP. So it looks like the strength HP build's paying off so far, with 65 max health and 53 max MP.
It's certainly nice to... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, looks like JJ and Up to NG are going to stick to grinding around the starting zone still.
Yeah, and I was just going to say the HP pool, being the size that it is, plays very well with having Heal More. If you can use Heal More strats on an enemy that's much stronger than you, you might be able to sneak out Erdrick's armor or token, for instance.
Oh, definitely. If you can find something like, let's say, a blue dragon sitting in Hawksness, not only can you possibly get Erdrick's armor if it happens to be there. But you can also get some decent experience out of it, as usually, depending on your level, it won't be able to hit you in one shot. So you can get a hit on it, heal more if you got the MP to keep going, and possibly take it down. But we do see Tilla and Mr. Holmes will both be picking up some keys in Rimildar now. I'd imagine they'll both go back to Tanagil to see if the treasury perhaps contains the Erdrick sword, which would definitely boost them in their killing ability.
Well, more importantly is even if the Erdrick sword is not there, you can set up the gold grind. And I wonder if Mr. Holmes is just going to try to do that, open up a couple of chests, and then
that's entirely
take a
possible. And he is in Garen's grave, so he can definitely pick up 3 chests. And we do see there is a death necklace, there is a pair of wings, or a set of wings anyway, an herb, and last chance for gold grind. And, well, we have the silver harp at least.
Still a possibility if something's in the basement, though.
This is true. We could have bonus cave, also the Stones of Sunlight cave, which would be the vanilla location for it, but it would be 1 extra chest, which would allow for... No, actually, that would not allow for the gold grind. That would still only be 8 chests total. And since we have seen Garen's Grave and Mountain Cave, neither one of those will be available there. So no gold grind today.
Have we seen Tablet Cave either?
We have not seen Tablet Cave yet.
So it could be either of those or one of the swamp caves.
It is definitely possible. Actually, no, gold grind's still not out of the picture yet. They haven't found Garenham, so if that leads Swamp Cave into Garenham, then gold grind is still there if there's gold in Garenham. Oh, we do have a dark cave.
And it looks like swamp.
Yeah, it is indeed swamp. So if that leads into the back of Garenham, the gold grind is still alive.
And of even more importance, on Mr. Holmes' side, level 7 was the magic level to get hurt more.
Oh, and speaking of magic, along with the magic key, he gets Erdrick's sword in the grave.
So
he will use that hurt more.
Yeah, now he's off to the races. There aren't a lot of enemies that are going to scare him at level 7. And he's going to start picking up experience hand over fist.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead and try and get the last 2 chests out of the grave. Really, the only enemies he's going to have to worry about here in the grave would be a blue dragon, an arbor knight, or a star wyvern, along with a golem. Basically, the most powerful enemies that you would typically see in Sharlock. Everything else he can pretty much hurt more in one go. But the enemies don't look to be too troublesome here.
He does have only 8 MP, though, so he would be in a little bit of trouble if he got consistently sort of mid-tier enemies.
That is a fair point. So we have a Spectre here with Stop Spell. Doesn't land, though. I believe that is our first skeleton sighting over on Tilla's side. Well, Mr. Holmes gets his magic key back, at least. Still 1 more chest deep in Garen's grave, but we do have coal found on Tilla's side. So he has definitely got the exploration lead here.
All right, and what's in the spot?
Oh, and he gets Erdrick's armor. That is beautiful for him. So no more swamp damage. We'll be able to take 1 HP heal per step that he takes now. And hurt more are now significantly reduced, as well as 1/3 of the damage from Baby's Breath and Dragonlord Breath being reduced. Oh, and unfortunately, Holmes will take a death before he gets to that last chest.
So he finds the silver harp and the death necklace.
And there's Erdrick's Tablet Cave. Oh, and so Mr. Holmes did get the the chest glitch here. And so how the chest glitch works, for those who are not familiar, the game can only hold 8 chests in memory. So once you've picked up 8 chests, if you die and go back to the throne room, that throne room will add another 3 chests to your count, which Mr. Holmes had 4 picked up, making it 7. So once you picked up an 8th chest, any chest after that will not disappear. They will stay there, and you can pick them up repeatedly. Repeatedly, that's the word.
So Mr. Holmes is going to top off the keys before heading into the basement. Question in chat, was that a bamboo pole? When you're doing the gold grind or anything, and you've hit that chest limit, the contents of the chests basically turn into Mad Libs, and you never really know what item the game is going to tell you got. You have to go into the inventory to see what you actually got. So those bamboo poles, I believe, were actually herbs.
Yeah, so that was the herb chest that Tilla had found. And Up to NG has made his way to Wimbledar, so he'll be picking up a few keys and be able to go into the treasury and get his Silver Harp and Death Necklace, which if the HP gain trend stays, we may actually see a Death Necklace get used. One chest we have not seen, though, is nobody has checked the chest in Wimbledar yet. So we might see that on Up to NG's side here.
Excellent move from Mr. Holmes, but the golem responded with punch.
Speaking of punching, we have a red dragon, also known as the Fun Police, on Tilla's side, and it punched him good.
A first sighting of the Fun Police, and no fun allowed.
No, that is why they are affectionately known as the Fun Police, is just when you think you're going to have some fun, the Fun Police say no. Oh, we do have Tilla going in and turning in his harp so he can get his Staff of Rain at least.
Yeah, and with the armor, he feels a lot more comfortable going into areas with swamp. So this should open up his exploration quite a bit, and he'll be able to cover some ground that he wasn't able to earlier. In the meantime, Up to No Good finds the grave and is going to stumble upon a giant pile of goodies very shortly.
Oh yeah, gold, a magic key, and then of course Erdrick's sword. So we don't actually have too much left to find other than the key items, which is the Rainbow Drop Cave, the Stones of Sunlight, and the token. We are about to get a coordinate check here from Mr. Holmes. "41 north and 12 west." That's not actually too bad, except I don't think they can go 41 north. Based on what we've seen of the map so far, so that may be on the second continent, which may mean we have a GPS needed.
It looks like he's going to give it a shot. You may also need to wrap completely around a lake of some sort.
That is possible. It could definitely be a very winding path. I've had a few of those myself. Of course, for those who are not familiar with the affectionate term that Princess Gwaelin has been given of GPS, the Gwaelin Positioning System. Once you have saved her from the Swamp Cave and returned her to King Lorik, she will give you Gwaelin's Love, which has 2 abilities. One, it will tell you the experience needed to the next level. Of course, most players will know what experience they need in the normal settings. But she'll also tell you how far away from the castle you are, which will allow you to search for those coordinates a little easier.
And
Mr. Holmes does.
It's the fairy flute. In the middle of a swamp. Not exactly what he's looking for.
No, not at all. And since we know the armor is in coal, that means the token either lies in Hawksnest, or it could still be in a treasure chest somewhere, and Hawksnest could have a big nothing. Oh, we have Bonus Cave being found by Tillo. And just an herb.
Ooh, free herb grind.
Ooh, Up to NG will not get to see the Silver Harp chest either, as a blue dragon will send him back home with some Dragonlord 2 breath. And we have a large shield being bought by JJ. Not a bad idea, seeing as how we don't have a gold grind. Not likely that we're going to see a silver shield with that towering amount of gold needed of 14,800.
And speaking of Hawksness, there it is.
Well, he does have the armor, so he'll be able to survive a little bit better. Not so much on the damage. Ooh, and he does have a blue dragon there. 2 Hurtmores will do it as long as it will land.
Ooh, the dragon is breathing fire, though, so he's got to YOLO this Hurtmore.
He does get it, though, so that'll be some nice experience for him and possibly the token. And token has been found in Hawksness. So we are only missing the Stones of Sunlight and the Rainbow Drop Cave now, which we don't really have any more treasure chests to check, except Garenham, which we haven't found yet, and that last chest in the Garen's grave.
Yeah, and if it turns out that it is that one chest in Garen's grave, it's going to be a long time before Mr. Holmes and Up to No Good manage to make it back down there.
Oh yeah, if you've already found all of the chests but that last one, it's usually the last chest you're willing to check because it's such a long trek for just one chest. Question in chat, Tillotil has not found the Stones of Sunlight to my knowledge.
It's possible that he could have found it while we were watching Mr. Holmes go through the grave.
Unless that's what was in Erdrick's cave. I didn't see actually what he picked up there.
Yeah, that is a good point, and the tracker is saying it was in Tablet Cave.
Okay, so we do know where all of the items are then. And so far, nobody has a insurmountable lead. As Up to NG is finding a metal slime, and if he can take that out, that will definitely give him a good boost, but the metal slime says no. So brave metal slime bravely ran away.
Now, interestingly enough, we haven't found the largest thing on the map yet, and that's Sharlock.
We also haven't seen anybody make it through the swamp cave yet, but we do have Up to NG on there as well, and then there it is. Ask and ye shall receive.
Well, that certainly makes using the Death Necklace a lot scarier.
Indeed, with Swamp being connected to Tantagel Castle, even though you do have Breckenary right next door, so you can at least remove the curse, but once removed, you lose the effects of the Death Necklace, and you lose the necklace forever as well, as it cannot be picked up again. Even if you pick up the chest, it'll just have, I believe it's between 1 and 125 gold.
Oh,
So as soon as...
I was going to say, in that case, you could have got a very, very slow gold grind going.
Oh yeah, it's a slow one, all right. And that's going to be Garenham, as we've seen every other town, so not much to be found in the chest, but maybe he can get a little bit of gold, pick up some extra bit of gear, as he has not found the Erdrick's armor yet, and he does not have a shield. So large shield would do pretty well here, since they know that they're not going to get a gold grind for the silver shield. Unless, if the chest happened to all hold gold, it's a slow grind. But 700 gold at a time with 3 chests, that's not too slow anymore. Man, unfortunately, if you are wearing the Death Necklace when you die and go back to Tantagel Castle, the king will say you are cursed and get out. Thereby not allowing you to go back to the Swamp Cave and not allowing you to get to Sharlock. And actually that was Cole, so Cole was on the other side of the Swamp Cave as well. I must have missed Tillo getting through the Swamp Cave.
Yep, Up to No Good getting his Erdrick's armor. Tillo is going to top off the keys.
Yeah, Up to NG sitting pretty here with both Erdrick's armor and Erdrick's sword, and also has not too far behind on experience from Mr. Holmes, but does have a lead on the others in the race. At least as far as our featured runners go.
Has anyone checked the locked weapon shop in Callan yet?
Not to my knowledge, but I don't foresee anybody checking it yet, or for any good reason at least, unless there's maybe something like, let's see, maybe JJ might, as that could have a weapon or some armor he could afford and purchase.
It looks like he's just going to stock up on torches instead.
And Mr. Holmes will be sent home by a golem just inside of Hawksnest, so no token for him yet.
How do you like being put to sleep, huh?
Yeah, the permanent sleep, the dirt nap. And he did have the flute, too, so he could have fluted and ran.
I wonder if he got the jump on him. Probably not likely with the golem.
Golems usually have a pretty good agility, since agility and defense kind of go hand in hand. And we get a Kaishin no Ichigeki over on JJ Schmidt's side, taking out his Wolf Lord. Meanwhile, Up to NG has found his way to the Tablet Cave, so he'll be getting his Stones of Sunlight here shortly.
So everything's coming together pretty quickly for the runners. The only thing missing is where's the jerk hiding out, and where is there a good grind spot? Because those blue dragons that spew flame breath, no thanks.
Yeah, no, those blue dragons, if they didn't have the Dragon Lord breath, it wouldn't be such a bad idea. But with Dragon Lord's breath, nah, I don't want none of that. Ooh, speaking of which, JJ just surviving with 1 HP, can't run away, so he'll be sent back home. Meanwhile, Tilla has found his way to the grave of Garanham, so he'll be getting his Erdrick Sword here shortly, and he will only be a rainbow drop away from being in go mode. Well, and leveling, of course.
Yeah, and now what's interesting about this is he doesn't even need to set foot in the lower grave.
And so Mr. Holmes taking on the Blue Dragon in Hawksness. It does use regular attacks, doesn't always breathe fire, but he will breathe fire on the second attack and send Mr. Holmes back home. Now, the grind spots that we have not seen anybody check so far is the swamp, and it's relatively quick to get to since the swamp is right there in Tantegel, and that could be something a little more easier to take down.
And I wonder if that's what Mr. Holmes is going to check right now on the way through, because he still needs the armor as well.
Yeah, Armored Knights are ugly, but they can appear there, and they do give good experience. Just a little tough to take down is all. But at least it's not like Dragon Lord Breath. And Tilla is checking the lower levels of the Garen's Grave. Not sure what he could be looking for here. He has everything useful already. Unless he really wants the flute and thinks the flute could be down there. And Mr. Holmes running into a Stone Man, which that could also be the guardian of the Princess in the Swamp. It's a bit of a slower grind, but safer. Meanwhile, JJ Schmidt has made his way into Hawksnest, so we'll see if he can get his token.
And it looks like Mr. Holmes just went through to the other side, so barring any unforeseen fun police, he should find his armor soon.
And he has the information that Sherlock is here, so he'll be rethinking possibly using that death necklace. Unless, of course, since it is right there, you can save at the king if you have the wherewithal to do so. And then that way, if you do die, you can just go right back and try it all over again. And JJ will get the Blue Dragon down, gains a level, and gets his token. Speaking of fun police.
Double hurt more working for JJ, up to no good. Just has to cut his way through this. No chance of running away at level 9.
Well, he does manage to take it down, so that is a nice hefty 255 experience points for him. And we have a AK-47 trying to stop Mr. Holmes from making his way over to Cole and getting his armor. but he does manage to take it down. So nice experience for him, and he'll make it to Cole and get his armor now, and he'll be happy to see that.
All right, so finally we'll get the answer. What was in the silver heart chest?
Just some gold. And no white outside spell in sight yet, so he's going to have to take the long walk out, or he can take a short walk, depending on how he wants to do it.
Might be a little of both, depending on the enemy distribution down here. A Wraith Knight and a Blue Dragon certainly can send you home in a box.
Well, Wraith Knights are a little easier to contend with, as one hurt more will take them down, but the Blue Dragons, they can send you home real quick. And that is apparently exactly what happened with Tilla, is that Blue Dragon sent him back home. So as we reach the 35-minute mark, just a quick recap of where everything was. So we did find the Silver Harp in Tanagil's treasury, along with the Death Necklace. We found Erdrick's sword in Garen's grave. We found Erdrick's armor in the coal searchable spot. We found the fairy flute in the coordinate location. We found the token hiding away in Hawksness. The stones of sunlight were in Erdrick's cave. And then, of course, we did find the Staff of Rain cave already as well. And so far, the only one who has turned that in is Tilla.
Metal Slime kill for Mr. Holmes, so good luck rolling on. Still have not seen Jerk Cave anywhere.
No, and all of our runners have explored both continents pretty well, but we do have Garenham's first sighting here on JJ's side.
Ooh, and that is a possibility for where the Jerk could be hiding.
I believe that is the last possibility, as I think all other caves have been seen. JJ choosing, maybe he didn't have a key, but he does walk back out of Garenham. And up to NG, going to get his coordinates. Unfortunately, we know that's the fairy flute, so he won't be too happy when he sees it. And Mr. Holmes is going to make another play at Hawk's Nest, see if he can get his token this time. At level 12, he does have 96 HP, so this is going to be a high HP seed. So the possibility of a Death Necklace is still there if they choose to save prior to going to Sharlock and give it a try. And Upden-G has found his way into the mountain cave. Unfortunately, we know there was nothing to be had there.
It looks like Mr. Holmes is going to have to rely on heal more strats to get this Blue Dragon down, but definitely has enough HP for it.
And he does have the armor, so it makes it a lot easier to mitigate some of that damage, giving him the ability to use a hurt more, and he will pick up his token.
Immediately turns around and leaves, so pretty good sign that not worth it for a grind.
No, not with having that Dragon Lord breath. It's just too much damage, because then not only are you casting a heal more, which takes 8 of your MP, you're also casting 2 hurt mores at least, which will be 10. So you're using 18 MP per blue dragon that you try to fight, and that's only if you get both of the hurt mores to land. And Tilla will be going into the back of Garenham. So we'll actually get to see what's in the chest here, and we'll most likely be seeing the Jerk Cave, as I believe that is the only cave that has not been seen here. So he'll be getting his rainbow drop then.
So in addition to Swamp Cave, another interesting grind spot could be the first floor of Sharlock.
Well, this is true. I've done it many times myself. If you can find Fun Police, you can find AKs, Star Wyverns, and if you can take them out quickly, which usually you're more often than not going to be lucky enough to take a Star Wyvern out with a single hurt more, but sometimes they'll take a hurt more in just one strike of a sword. But it's still good experience and still a quick fight. And JJ has found his way into Rimmelsdor, so he is now stocking up on keys. So I can't imagine that he won't be heading back to Garenham here soon, as he hasn't found much yet. So Garenham could hold a lot for him. Of course, we know he doesn't, but...
alternately, if Tila takes a dive down to Charlock, he doesn't have enough to beat the Dragon Lord, but as much information as he can get would be valuable as well. If he knows it's completely full of red dragons, then when he does find a good grind spot, he may get an extra level or two just to make it through.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I mean, he has the armor, he has a large shield, he has Erdrick Sword. He's about as equipped as he's going to get. So really all he needs is levels, since he does have his rainbow drop now as well. Yeah, and Mr. Holmes did go ahead and turn in his Silver Harp, so he now has his Staff of Rain. And, ooh, looks like Tila might give a try on the Spike Tile in the Swamp Cave. See what we have. Ooh, Golems. Yeah, I don't blame him from running from that. That is not a fun grind. They do give a lot of experience, but it's a slow fight.
Yeah,
and he does...
Oh, go ahead.
I'm going to say, and he does actually get the single Hurtmore kill on a Star Wyvern, showing that it is definitely possible.
Yeah, so right now the Golem grind doesn't look very attractive either. Having to play the Fairy Flute before every single round makes it a very, very slow grind.
And you lose a good 4 or 5 seconds every time you have to go into in your menu, get to the Fairy Flute, play the flute, and then read the text that the Golem, shuts its eyes and falls asleep.
Yeah. One of the grind spots that is actually made different if you have speed hacks on, but yeah, it's very difficult to justify Golem grind if you just can't tank all the punches.
And we do see Stonemen are in the first floor Charlock. They're not as good experience-wise, but they are a little easier and quicker to take down than those blue dragons and Hawksness would be.
It looks like he's going to have to use heal more strats to get through this fight, but not too much more HP on the side of the Stone Man.
And at least until he gets himself some decent strength boosts. And we have JJ in the Grave of Garenham, so he does have his sword now, and he's going to check the lower 2 chests, as he's still missing quite a bit here. Can't say I blame him, but I don't know. I might have checked some of the chests that required keys to get to before searching the 2 chests in Garen's grave. We have Axe Knights and bottom floor Charlock as well. Decent experience and easy enough to kill, well, if they don't have heal. So that'll make those fights a little bit tougher to deal with, as they can heal just about every bit of what he's doing per hit to him. And we get our first level 13 setting on Mr. Holmes' side. 3, a 5, a 2, and looks like he's almost got every spell. Might be missing 1.
So Axe Knight's about the friendliest thing that you can level on towards the end of the game. Blue Dragons, not so much.
No, definitely not. Not unless you have a surplus of HP, which Mr. Holmes is at 101 at level 13.
So given how high the HP is creeping up, Death Necklace could become very relevant if there's a big bump in some of these upcoming levels.
And yeah, that blue dragon shows Tila that it's not to be trifled with and sends him back home. Alright, so Mr. Holmes has found Erdrick's cave, so he'll be able to get his stone to sunlight. And other than levels, he will be in go mode now. Well, and of course finding the rainbow drop. So that exploration lead that Tilla had is slowly dwindling away on Mr. Holmes' side. Mr. Holmes does have the experience lead currently, but Up to NG is not too far behind him. And yeah, they are still missing one spell. They're missing Outside. Otherwise, Mr. Holmes would have cast that to quickly leave the cave instead of taking the extra about minute it takes to walk back out of there.
It's always funny when you're missing those utility spells at the end of the game. I've had a couple of races where I needed to keep an extra pair of wings around because I finished at 15 and didn't have return.
Oh, yeah, that's always great. When you've got enough to go at 15 but no return spell and you're miles away. In this case, it wouldn't be so bad. It's just a quick trek through Swamp Cave. And there's no enemies, so you don't even have to worry about running into that.
Question in chat, where's the death necklace? It was in the treasury in Tentagial, so everybody's got it.
And for those who are unfamiliar with the death necklace, in the vanilla game, it does absolutely nothing except for curse you. But in the randomizer, it has been tweaked just a little bit, and it will actually give you an extra 10 attack power at the cost of 25% of your HP. Typically, you want to have at least 130 HP before you put on the death necklace, as that will take you down to 97, which is the exact amount you need to survive 2 full powered Dragonlord Breath attacks and have 1 HP left. So if you're just shy, somewhere between 5 and 10 attack power, it's not usually a bad idea to put it on if you can. And then lets you go to Dragonlord without having to grind out an extra level, especially if you're already in the higher levels. And once you start getting to 16, 17, 18, those levels start taking quite a bit more to grind away. And Mr. Holmes has made his way into Garenham, so he'll be going to the Jerk Cave and getting his Rainbow Drop now. So he will be in go mode other than levels. And maybe he might give us a quick stat check here. Or maybe not.
So Mr. Holmes with the lead in experience, Tilla with the lead in exploration, and it looks like everybody else is somewhere in the middle. So still anybody's game. It may come down to who can efficiently execute a grind.
Yeah, that does seem to be the key issue here, is blue dragons are out of the question. Golems are no fun to fight here, which looks like Mr. Holmes is going to go check real quick. So finding somewhere to grind that's not going to be a pain is really going to be the issue here.
And speaking of no fun, Dillo manages to evade the fun police on the way down. And there is one grind spot that we haven't talked about, and that's the... Oh no, that doesn't exist anymore, the Dragonlord's Guardian. Does he, in this version, does he respawn?
Yes.
If you step off the tile and back on?
So the Guardian of the Dragonlord, the Spike Tile, just as you enter his final hallway, there is one more monster that will continue to respawn there. And that will be one of either Axe Knight, Golem, Blue Dragon, Fun Police, or the AK-47, if I'm not mistaken. Or it could also be a repeat. Could see 2 Golems, could see 2 Blue Dragons.
Yeah, so if you dive all the way down to the bottom and find out, hey, it's a bunch of Axe Knights, that might give you just enough of an edge.
That is a very long trek for a grind, though, so hopefully it'll pay off and not be something too terrible to deal with, like, say, these Star Wyverns who also like to breathe fire. So, knowing that the Star Wyverns can also breathe Dragonlord's Breath, you don't really want to see them there either. And Up to NG will be picking up his Staff Rain now, so he'll be only a token away from being able to get his Rainbow Drop. So for Up to NG, the exploration lead that Mr. Holmes and Tilla have is slowly dwindling away as he catches up to them. Experience-wise, he's still not too far away from Mr. Holmes. And JJ is not far behind either, but does have a bit of an exploration gap to go. But he will be getting his staff right now as well.
Tiller finding a green dragon, and that's a pretty nice enemy to run into.
Oh yeah, green dragons, especially at the amount of damage he's doing to them. 135 experience apiece, not a bad way to grind it out if you can continue to find him on that floor, which he's finding another. And looks like Holmes is going to just go straight into Sharlock and try the grind there. Can't say I blame him with the spike tiles not being too friendly.
Yeah, and I wonder if he's just going to hang out on the first floor, or if he's going to do a dive similar to what Taylor's doing right now.
No, Blue Dragon.
Nice run through the bottom of Sharlock, though.
Yeah, where'd all the monsters go? Oh, there's one.
Uh-oh.
Quickly runs away from a golem.
Oh, no. This is not a good floor.
Doesn't quickly run away. Well, 2 runs isn't bad for a Blue Dragon. Oh, and it's Axe Knights.
It's Axe Knights. It doesn't get much better than this.
Now, 1 swing of a sword and a hurt more, and it's gone. But he only has 32 MP left, so he doesn't have a lot of resources for this grind. And speaking of grinds, Mr. Holmes working on grinding, looks like on the first floor here. Not too far away from level 14, as that's only about another 500, 506 away. Now only 326 with that Blue Dragon he just took out.
The only problem is the Axe Knight knows heal, so if you don't blow him up with the hurt more initially, it could be a little trickier of a fight.
Yeah, that's true. And 1 sword hit after that heal will not take it out either. And he could do exactly what he's doing now, which is continuously cast that heal.
Yeah, and that's going to slow down the fight to the point where you should really just burn another hurt more.
And JJ will be finding his Jerk Cave, but he doesn't have the Stones of Sunlight unless we missed him picking those up. And since he exits right back out, he'll stash that information away somewhere and go back on the search.
And so it looks like it's very quick if you can gun down the Axe Knights with hurt more, but a very, very slow fight otherwise. So,
yeah, knowing that they have heal might actually be a better idea to punch it once and then use the hurt more, preventing them from being able to actually use the heal.
yeah, that would guarantee that you finished off the Axe Knight with 1 heal more. The only problem is you also have a very good chance of finishing off the Axe Knight with a heal more, or excuse me, a hurt more. Finishing off the Axe Knight with a hurt more outright. So it doesn't feel as efficient, but I think the safest play is probably the way to go if you're planning on doing this grind.
And Mr. Holmes taking a heal and Cole and heading back into Sharlock. So it looks like he's either going to go ahead and make an attempt at a dive as he's going further in, or he is going to continue his grind maybe on a more favorable floor. We haven't seen a stat check on him, so he could be at enough attack power. I highly doubt it at this level, but it's not unheard of.
Well, we'll see how he chooses to use his magic. That might be indicative of whether he's going to try to run all the way down to the Dragon Lord.
And he's doing a lot of running here, so If he was wanting to grind on anything, he would actually be attacking things.
Yeah, he may feel comfortable just at the level he's at right now.
I mean, if he's at 120 attack power, he could put the Death Necklace on, but have not enough health. So he would have to be pretty close to that 130 mark, as that is generally where you want to be in order to average enough damage on Dragon Lord 2 to be able to take it down. And he doesn't have an excess of MP. He only has enough for 11 heal mores, so that only gives him 12 hits with not really enough HP for double hits either.
Yeah, Mr. Holmes is the kind of person that would definitely employ a strategy of leveling as he goes against enemies that are favorable. But we haven't seen him take any swings against these Axe Knights or the Wizards, so probably feels content with just taking on the Dragon Lord with the stats that he has.
Unless he's banking on the spike tile down here being a good grind spot, saving all of his magic for that point.
I think even as you're going down, though, if you find an enemy that is pretty favorable to level, you'll take it, even if you're saving for a grind spot. Certainly not going to say no to an Armored Knight or an Axe Knight if you can knock it out in 1 or 2 heal more or hurt mores.
Well, he is on the bottom floor, so it won't be long before we get to find out what he's up to. Speaking of up to NG now has his rainbow drop, so he is in go mode other than leveling. He does not have a shield of any kind yet, though. Plenty of gold to go and purchase a large shield with, though.
And Sotillo is very close to the next level, so we'll be able to see what kind of bump in strength he gets with, looks like 1 more enemy kill on average.
And we see Mr. Holmes running even from the green dragons, which are easily killable just with physical damage. So I think you're right. I think he is going to just make a play at the Dragon Lord here. And JJ Schmidt finding Cole, he'll be happy to see Erdrick's armor, and that would be a great boost compared to what he had before. So JJ only missing picking up his Stones of Sunlight and then getting the Rainbow Drop, and he'll be other than levels in go mode as well.
All right, Mr. Holmes using the last heal, and he's got plenty. Yeah, right on the break point between 1 heal more and another. So 11 heal mores.
Dragon Lord starting out with a hurt more on him. And he's going to go with the ever favorable herb strats, hope for a stop spell, and swing away. And does work out for him, so he'll be going into Dragon Lord 2 with full HP. So let's see if he can do it. It starts off with a 12, that's not bad. And 10, that's a little low, but that gets him to 22 now.
Right,
for Dragon Lord, and for Dragon Lord 2, he has between 150 and 165, and he gets a 16, so that's 38 that he's at now. We do see on Tilla side at level 14, you're at 136 attack power. Wow, that is a lot for level 14.
Yeah, so that's a huge jump, and yeah, for the strength HP build, it's definitely enough to get the job done if you don't use any heal mores on the way down.
Guarantees 12 hits, which actually he did get a double hit right on the beginning since he had full health, so that's 13 hits he'll be able to get. So long as he averages at least 13 a hit, he'll have it. Speaking of 13, there was a 13 right there.
Yeah, rolling a couple of 10s beforehand, though, so...
Ooh, and a 9. That is not going to help him there.
Yeah, slowing down at the right, or the absolute wrong time.
Ooh, a 17 though. That'll make up quite a bit. And up to NG is at level 14 as well, so he is ready to go to the Dragon Lord as he has got everything he needs to do so. And JJ only one level behind and just needs to go back to Garenham to pick up his Rainbow Drop now.
Dragon Lord keeps breathing fire, so not great news for Mr. Holmes.
And when he does a physical hit, he hurts for quite a bit there too. There's a 15 on Mr. Holmes' side. He's got one more heal more left, so he's going to get at least one attack or two more attacks here.
And this has to do it.
Oh, and he gets it on the last hit. So GG to Mr. Holmes.
Yeah, exactly what he needed, and a couple of very good rolls at the end, helping him recover from those the 9 earlier.
Yeah, the 9 and those 10s that were definitely not doing him any favors.
So get out your GGs for Mr. Holmes, finishing with an SRL time of 59:52.
Yeah, just barely getting a sub hour, but man, does it feel great to get a sub hour. Oh, some nice graphical glitches over on Tilla's side. You know, I need to actually one of these days get up to NG to send me his Dragonware file. I actually like the weird blockiness and shapes and recolors of it.
So it looks like Tilla might be going for another level before finishing the dive, and we'll see how this shakes out. But with that big bump in strength, you should be able to take out Axe Knights through the heel, no problem.
He's only about 500 away, now only less than 300 away from his level, so can't say I blame him for it. He did use some MP along the way, so might as well go for that last level and really secure your fight against the Dragon Lord. Although at the 136 that they have, I mean you're doing between 9 and 18 damage as your max. Oof, and a Star Wyvern sending up to NG home. Oh, Tilla did make it to 15. Unfortunately, was not able to see what stats he gained, or if he did a status check to see where he was at. Seems like his ISP is having the fun police go after him right now.
Yeah, so we'll get to see at least what effects it has on his MP and HP. HP of 116?
No, yeah, nothing to the MP, though. Alright, so we have JJ and Garenham again, so he'll be picking up his Rainbow Drop, and aside from needing at least one more level, he will be in go mode as well.
So the boost in HP, not too bad to get. Any boost in agility will also help him potentially get some double attacks, and if the Dragon Lord decides to launch a physical.
Definitely, and with that boost in HP, that gives him the possibility of actually getting a couple of double shots in on the Dragon Lord. So long as the physical attacks are some lower rolls.
Yeah, and I think that the chance for doubles would be a lot higher had we actually seen a silver shield anywhere in the game, but you're not guaranteed to get one, and this is one of those games where it looks like it's just not for sale.
Well, we did actually see a silver shield. It was actually in the top shop in Cantlin. It's just nobody could afford the thing.
Oh, fair enough.
And when you don't get a gold grind, it's either on your level grind, you hope you grind up enough gold, or you're just going to be stuck without one.
Yeah, and with the death necklace grind being the only option, and the silver shield being the most expensive choice, probably not worth the time.
Yeah, I don't much favor having to open 148 chests in order to get enough gold from that grind. I mean, depending on where you're already sitting, it might not be so bad, but even still, I think the highest we saw was a little over 6,000 gold. I mean, you're still looking at 80 to 90 chest openings. That's no fun.
Yeah, and it's still a useful tool to have in your back pocket in case you need, say, a broadsword or a hand axe and some chainmail. But definitely don't want to be opening more than 20 or 30 of those chests.
No, definitely not. And JJ is now level 14, so he will only need to go stay at an inn, and he'll be on his way into Sharlock as well. Now, in the Chaos Seed, on the other hand, if your only gold grind available is that Death Necklace chest, might not be so bad. It might only need 10 or so openings, and you can pick you up some really nice stuff early on. So for those who may have missed the Chaos tournament, in Chaos, the shop prices of items are completely randomized, where you could see a 1 gold silver shield, or maybe only a couple thousand gold, could still be pretty close to vanilla and be around 10,000, 13,000. But it does open up possibilities to where a Death Necklace gold chest grind, not always as bad if you don't decide to sell the Death Necklace off to pick it up early on anyway. If I remember correctly, the Death Necklace is worth 1,200 gold, whereas Curse Belts, you can sell them, and they are worth 180 gold.
And one of our off-stream finishers is just got done. Jay Coper finishing in second place with a time of 1:06:01. So get out your GGs for Jay Coper as well.
Still not a bad time at all. As far as a normal flag goes, I mean, sub hours feel great. They really do. But anything, I'd say, between 1 hour and 1 hour 15 is definitely a very good time. 1 hour 15, 1 hour 30, still very respectable. And then just depending on your seed and how rough it was, a sub 2 hour can still be a great finish. I mean, we've seen some of these normal flags where you have to go all the way up into level 20 before you get what you need to be able to take on the Dragon Lord. And when you got to get to level 20, that is not a fun grind. As level 20 requires 19,500 in order to get to that level. So they're taking on the Dragon Lord with only having gained at least 5,625. So you would be looking at another 14,000 experience if you had to get to level 20. But it has happened before. Mr. Holmes saying he doesn't always get power when he levels up, but when he does, he gets 31. So that must have been what that level 14 was 31 power. Wow.
All right, quick check on Tilo's screen, and he's got 145 for his max damage, so
right,
more
so
than enough.
Yeah, so 145, that's going to put him at dealing between 14 and 27, I believe. We do have up to MG on his Dragon Lord 2 fight, as Tilla is working on getting to his Dragon Lord 2 fight. And I believe, yes, we do also have JJ Schmidt on his way down to Dragon Lord. Level 15 wasn't bad. That would mean it was another 9 strength gain. Yeah, with 136 at level 14, it's definitely more than enough. Just as long as you don't get too many of those low rolls. All right, so JJ is going to be saying no to the Dragon Lord here, unless he wants to give us a display. No, never mind. I'm saying unless he wants to display what happens when you say yes.
Old B.
It actually has happened before where somebody did say yes to the Dragon Lord during a race, and yeah, that's not fun. It will actually soft lock your game, and Up to NG has finished off his Dragon Lord 2 fight.
So, for a brief few seconds, we had all 3 runners on stream fighting the Dragon Lord.
All right, so we do have Up to NG in 3rd place with an official SRL time of 1:10:17. Oh, followed closely by Tilla in 4th with a 1:10:25, only 8 seconds apart.
Yeah, and that makes sense with the frame drops that Tilla has been having. The stream is very likely behind, so it just shows that he was really, really close and almost pulled it off.
Oh, I always type that wrong. I'm too lazy to click the smiley face and just click the emote. I like typing it. Alright, so JJ will be finishing up his Dragon Lord 2 not too long from now, just a few more hits left to go. And getting some decent rolls here with a 16 there. Being very careful in those menuings as well to make sure he doesn't accidentally throw a hurt more at the Dragon Lord. I've had that happen to me more times than I care to admit.
And that'll do it. And at level 14 with a heal more left over.
Yeah, definitely had a bit more favorable rolls than we saw on Mr. Holmes' side. Alright, so JJ finishes with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 12 minutes, and 19 seconds. And that will be our last racer. So less than 115 for all 4. Not bad at all.
So very, very solid race from everyone involved. All of our runners finishing within about 12 minutes of one another.
It was definitely a great race. I mean, everybody was pretty close sticking to each other there. I mean, between Mr. Holmes, Tillo, and Up to NG, all 3 of them were pretty close to being ready to go right about the same time, and JJ wasn't far behind him either. And Tilla noting that he was actually close to getting the sword at level 1, so that was Garen's grave that he had found initially and got taken out by a Star Wyvern before he could pick it up. So let's see if any of our runners actually want to do an interview or not.
So it sounds like no interviews this evening, but congratulations to Mr. Holmes on finishing first place with the sub-hour time. Very impressive, and congrats to all the other runners as well.
Just kidding.
Oh.
We have one brave soul who is willing to take our onslaught of questions.
So very, very nice reaction there to the 31 strength. Were you planning on getting a couple levels on the way down before you got all of that strength?
I contemplated it, but dances just weren't quite right. I kind of just had to commit at some point. Give it a go, because I thought I could even burn a heal more, I thought. I had an absolutely atrocious fight.
Yeah, we saw JJ at 14 get through with exactly one heal more left, so I think...
That's probably average.
Yeah, I think on average, but you were getting an awful lot of 9s and 10s.
The way I looked at it is, by my math, I would probably win most fights in 12 attacks. That's just how the numbers worked out. And I figured with 11 heal mores, I would be very fine. And I felt absolutely fantastic after I got a double attack at the start. I felt less fantastic as it went on.
Yeah, that starting double attack is actually what did it for you there. Without that attack, you wouldn't have had enough.
Yeah, how much health did he have?
I had actually lost count at some point, but I do know it was higher than the 150 minimum.
155 before my last attack. So I was sweating it a little bit, because I knew if I got a 9, it would only do 164. I was like, oh, who knows, right? It was that kind of fight for me.
So what was your thought on looking for a grind spot? That's what I'm curious on, since you had blue dragons in Hawksness with Breath, you had golems in Swamp Cave, so nothing too fun to play with there.
Yeah, a lot of thought goes into that, because in the right circumstance, both of those could be viable grind options. For Hawksness, what kind of crossed that out is a lot of magic, because he's going to breathe fire on you. You don't have a ton of health town to regenerate your health, and it's a long walk to get there, so I kind of ruled that out. But if there was a town nearby, maybe that would have been the best thing. Golem, I was like, oh, this is great. I'll just stop spell it. Then it just kept resisting me, so I guess I'll go to Sharlock. It wasn't much better.
Yeah, and I actually commented on the blue dragon fight there. I mean, you're looking at least 8 MP on the heal more and 10 MP on the 2 hurt mores to take it down. So 18 per kill if both Hurtmores land on the first try.
I'd probably just physical attack it, and maybe try to hurt more if I'm at like 40 damage or something like that. But usually, unless I'm a super low level, I don't rely on. So yeah, that your idea that would even take more MP. Sometimes it's necessary. Tilo, are you here?
Yeah, we're joined by Tilo. GG to you as well.
Muted.
Yeah, it looks like we've got some Discord issues, so we'll try again in a bit.
I like listening to my own voice, but I'm not sure if everyone else does, so I thought I'd give him a chance to talk.
Well, apparently I'm joined by my cat. No interviews from him today, though.
Bad man. So,
So, that counting, though, what was your thoughts on, since you could have easily gotten the princess, but chose to count it out instead?
So, you say you could easily get the princess, but there was a golem with sleep. I don't know if it's as easy as you're suggesting it might be.
Well, I had a reasonable chance of getting the princess.
Yeah. Like, it's only 53 steps, and it's through mostly safe territory. Based on the map I kind of had in my head, I was pretty sure it was on the continent. If it was getting there, then I may have reevaluated, but for a first try, especially when I was having issues with the golem already, I figured I would give it a go.
I'd actually initially thought, because we hadn't seen a whole lot of exploration north of the castle, I initially thought it would have actually been on the second continent based on the 41 north. But there actually was quite a bit of continent still to go, even.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So I think by the time you were able to set up any sort of gold grind in Camtasia Castle, you already had Hurtmore and the sword. And it wasn't that good of a gold grind to begin with the death necklace. Are there certain circumstances where you would take a gold grind like that?
I will be perfectly honest. I didn't even that was an option. That was not something that was on my radar. Not because it was a bad idea, just I did not even think of that. I'm just trying to think. At the time, we got a ton of sick agility boosts at the beginning, so in my head, it's like I'm not too worried about my agility. It turns out we only had like 85, which is respectable, but not the most agility you can have. I'm definitely going to remember that from next time, though. I always love finding those little quirky ways of, it's really good to learn those.
Yeah, it seems like if it was earlier and you needed, like, say, a hand axe or a chainmail just to get you over the starting line, then that might be a good option.
For sure.
Yeah, go ahead. I was just saying, at first I thought the gold grind might have actually been lost because there was no gold to be found in the treasury, and we'd seen Garen's Grave, we'd seen Mountain Cave, so there was no chance of it being in the basement, but we hadn't seen what was in the basement yet, and we hadn't seen Garenham, and that's another one of those quirky gold grind possibilities. If you can go through Swamp Cave into the back of Garenham, you do have a gold grind chance there. Wasn't the case this time, but that's another one of those quirky grinds where unless you really think about it or just happen to walk through and get it, it's not likely to happen.
Yeah. I contemplated it, but I think I thought the golem first and it took me out, so I obviously walked through the swamp cave again and saw it was just the overworld, so I didn't reconsider. But that's something I learned in the randomizer tournament. Someone that way, I was like, that's crazy. So cool. Like I hope people that are watching and like to play Randomizer can learn from that, because really that's how it works. You watch a lot. That's what I did when I first started out. Bad to pick up. It's really fun.
Yeah, I mean that's how I got into Dragon Warrior Randomizer. I happened to catch some of last year's tournament, and I had known for a while that there was a randomizer. I was like, oh man, but it's Dragon Warrior and it's an RPG. It's going to be such a long run. And then I started watching some of the tournament matches. Like, it's not long at all. This is doable.
Good changes to it for sure. I really love the second continent idea. That is such an interesting dynamic. That didn't always exist. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, having sometimes that, especially if your searchable spot is on the other continent, usually in most runs, you're not going to pick up the princess. It's out of the way. It takes time. It could be far off, way across the continent. Then you have to go all the way back to the castle. But with possibility of sometimes it being on the second continent, you almost have to get the princess in order to find that item.
Unless you're an incredibly intelligent individual, which I do not fall in that range, where you can calculate it based on some landmarks. I wouldn't even.
I've only done that twice.
Kudos.
I did it once, I think actually during the recent Chaos tournament, and then once I was just doing a fun run on my own, where I'd counted out all the steps. I was like, ooh, I can see land on the other side. Went to the other continent, went to the land, spaced the steps out to that point, and then kept counting. And I don't remember why I didn't just get the princess. I mean, I had to go through Swamp Cave anyway. I could have just got the princess, but...
Worked out, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, right?
It's one of those fun little challenges, 90 north and 60 east. Can I count this out? Not fun.
For sure. I like finding little efficiencies like that. Particular one in this run where once I found Garenham, that was the last place I needed to find because I knew the jerk rainbow drop guy was in there. I needed, so I didn't open the 3 chests that were in the back door, which I would almost always do, even if I knew I had some. It's like, oh, maybe there's something I need. Not doing it.
Maybe if you didn't start with the fighter's ring and the extra 2 attack part always helps. But I mean, yeah, by the time you got to Garenham, you had everything other than enough gold for a silver shield. Now, that was something I had noted is if you see, 2, maybe even 3 gold chests in Garenham, it's not a bad grind if you have quick access to get keys and, just grind it a few times.
Sure. Yeah, like the considerations that go into that ability, because if you have pretty good agility, often the large shield is sufficient. It's good if you want to defense break something. There's 300 different scenarios, and each one it's good. Sometimes it's bad, and this one I felt comfortable, like unbeatable, but I felt comfortable with what I had, so I didn't really go out of my way to try anything crazy.
And we are joined again by Tillo. Were we able to get it working?
Negative,
Sounds like
Jim.
not.
I think I'm gonna call her quits for now. Thank you so much for having me here, and thanks for doing the stuff you do. So much appreciated in the words of Ness Cardinality.
All right, well, I think we'll go ahead and wrap that up. Any final comments, Edgeworth?
I just want to say thanks to Melee Wizard and Wolfman for doing the tracking and the restream, respectively. Always good to work with the Randomania folks.
All right, well, let's see. Just a quick touch on what else we do have going on the Randomania network. We do have also on Randomania 2, unless it is finished already, Might actually want to go check that real quick. No, it has not finished, so we do still have a Zelda 2 Max Randomizer tournament. Looks like that will be finishing up here pretty soon, which was between the Alan Heffley and Zarnax. But aside from that, we do also have on Randomania 3 another Zelda 2 Max Randomizer tournament between Amazing Toaster and Rose City Saint. And then starting tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on Randomania 1, we have a Pokemon Crystal Randomizer Cinco Bingo tournament. That is a mouthful, by the way. Along with the Zelda 2 Adventure of Link Max Rando tournament at 9 p.m. between Thurwolf and Raikou Rider. So I think that is going to just about do it for us here on Randomania 1. So thank you all for joining us. Hope you all enjoyed the randomizer, and definitely check out Randomania 2 or Randomania 3 if you're interested in seeing some Zelda 2 randomizer action. And have a good night.
Have a good night, everyone. Thank you for watching.